To get the best performance and economy from an engine, you must have everything in top-notch shape. It isn't enough to have all systems functioning correctly. Those systems must work together correctly. Nowhere is this more important than in spark and throttle synchronization. The ignition system and fuel system must work together to deliver optimum performance and economy. In this program, we will review the steps required to synchronize 1987 and newer Johnson or Evinrude three-cylinder engines with throttle cam part number 431707. These cams can be identified by having only one pickup mark. They are used on most 1987 and newer 60 and 70 horsepower engines. The synchronizing steps are setting the timing pointer, synchronizing the throttle valves, adjusting the idle speed, adjusting the cam follower pickup, adjusting the throttle cam link, adjusting the wide open throttle stop, and setting the maximum spark advance. When you set up an engine, always follow the OMC service manual. All steps must be performed in the correct order, as each step is dependent on the previous step. One OMC special tool is required for this procedure, a piston stop tool. This can be ordered from the OMC Special Tool catalog. You will also need a good timing light, a tachometer, and a few hand tools. The timing pointer must be correctly adjusted to accurately determine the engine's ignition timing. If the engine has been serviced in the past, such as removal of the intake manifold, the pointer's position may no longer be accurate. First of all, remove all spark plugs. This will prevent the engine from starting accidentally and causing injury. Remove the bracket in front of the timing pointer. Center the timing pointer. Turn the flywheel in a clockwise direction until the cast-in top dead center mark is approximately 1.5 inches past the timing pointer. Install the piston stop tool in the number 1 cylinder. Adjust the tool to make contact with the piston. Tighten the lock ring on the tool. While holding the flywheel firmly against the piston stop tool, make a mark on the flywheel in line with the timing pointer. This is mark A. Continue turning the flywheel in a clockwise direction until the piston contacts the tool again. Make a second mark on the flywheel in line with the timing pointer. This is mark B. Remove the piston stop tool. Use a flexible scale to find the midpoint between the two marks. Make a third mark on the flywheel at the midpoint. This is mark C. If mark C does not line up with the cast-in TDC mark, rotate the flywheel to align mark C with the timing pointer. In this position, Cylinder number 1 is at true top dead center. Hold the flywheel in this position and slide the timing pointer to line up with the TDC mark on the flywheel. Install and torque the spark plugs following the instructions in the service manual. All 3 throttle valves must be closed when the engine is idling. If the carburetor linkage is misadjusted, so one carburetor throttle valve is slightly open, it will result in poor quality idle. Disconnect the throttle cable. Loosen the throttle cam follower screw. Push the cam follower away from the cam. The follower must not touch the throttle cam during this procedure. Loosen the upper and lower carburetor lever adjusting screws. This allows the return springs to fully close the throttle valves. To make sure the throttle valves are closed, open the throttle shafts part way and allow them to snap closed. Gently press upward on the tabs of the adjusting links to remove any backlash. Tighten the adjusting screws. Adjust the lower carburetor linkage first, then the upper linkage. Move the cam follower and verify that all 3 throttle shafts start to rotate at the same time. Carefully adjusting the idle speed screw will ensure consistent idle speeds and good slow speed performance. To adjust the idle speed, the boat and engine must be in the water under normal operating conditions with the correct propeller installed. The boat's movement must be unrestrained. The boat must not be tied to a dock or a trailer. Start the engine and allow it to reach normal operating temperature. Be sure the throttle cam follower is not touching the throttle cam during this procedure. Check the idle RPM in forward gear with an accurate tachometer. Stop the engine to prevent contact with rotating parts. Temporarily adjust the engine speed to 800 RPM in forward gear. Turn the screw clockwise to increase idle speed or counterclockwise to decrease idle speed. Recheck the engine speed. Stop the engine. The throttle cam follower pickup point must be adjusted to ensure the proper relationship between the ignition and fuel systems. The carbureted throttle plates must remain closed during this procedure. A simple device called a throttle amplifier can be made to check the pickup adjustment. A thin rod soldered to a spring-loaded clip will amplify the throttle shaft movement. Align the embossed mark on the throttle cam with the center of the cam follower. Make sure the throttle plates are still closed. Hold the follower against the mark and tighten the cam follower screw. Attach the amplifier to the top carburetor throttle shaft plate. While advancing the throttle cam, the embossed mark on the cam must align with the center of the cam follower as the tip of the amplifier begins to move. This adjustment sets the length of the throttle cam link. Hold the throttle arm against the idle speed screw and loosen the throttle cam lock nut. Adjust the thumb wheel so the throttle cam and follower touch at the embossed mark. Retighten the throttle cam lock nut. Make sure the throttle arm is still touching the idle speed screw and that all carburetor throttle plates are still closed. The cam and cam follower must just touch at the embossed mark after the lock nut has been tightened. Turn the idle speed screw exactly 1/2 turn counterclockwise. There must now be approximately 0.010 inch clearance between the throttle cam and follower to ensure consistent idle quality. To test this adjustment, slowly advance the throttle arm and then bring it back to the idle position. There must still be 0.010 inch clearance between the throttle cam and the cam follower. When checked, the engine idle speed will now be between 700 and 750 RPM. This procedure is very critical. Any future changes in the idle speed screw setting will require repeating the entire cam follower adjustment procedure. The throttle cable must be installed correctly as explained in Section 8 of the service manual to prevent increased wear of shift system components and hard shifting. Move the remote control lever from neutral to the forward detent. Then move it halfway back to neutral. Attach the throttle cable using the hardware supplied with the engine. Pull firmly on the cable to remove backlash. Adjust the trunnion to fit into the anchor pocket. Install the cable retainer. To avoid damaging the carburetor linkage, the wide-open throttle stop must be accurately adjusted. With the engine shut off, manually advance the throttle lever to the wide-open position. Adjust the wide-open stop screw so that the roll pins in the carburetor shafts are vertical. The pins must not go past vertical. To get optimum performance and reliable engine service, the full advanced timing must be carefully adjusted. Run the engine with the proper test wheel. Do not run the engine with a propeller or a flushing adapter for this adjustment. Connect a timing light to number 1 cylinder. Start the engine and allow it to reach operating temperature. Shift to forward gear and run it at a minimum of 5,000 RPM. Check the timing and compare it with the specifications in the service manual. If the timing is incorrect, stop the engine. Loosen the timing adjustment screw nut and turn the screw in or out as necessary to correct timing. 1 turn clockwise retards timing about 1 degree, while 1 turn counterclockwise advances timing about 1 degree. Tighten the nut, start the engine, and verify the timing at 5,000 RPM. When you're done, reinstall the bracket in front of the timing pointer. Synchronizing an engine is a detailed procedure, but not a complicated one. If it isn't done correctly, the engine will not deliver the performance and economy that was designed into it. Anytime you service an ignition or carburation system, your work is not complete until the engine is synchronized. Use the correct service manual. Follow each step in the order listed. and you can be sure that your customers will leave satisfied.